Wasn't sure what this dresser was until I found this little piece on the very bottom when I turned it over to clean it, and I found out this was a Drexel, so I was really excited. So I went ahead and started the stripping process. It had some beautiful Burlwood accents on it, so I wanted to keep the two top drawers and the top. I wanted to keep those natural wood, and I decided to prime and paint out the body. So you see here I'm priming. I like to prime with Ben Shellac primer. Covers any kind of bleeding possibility through tannins. It blocks any odors. It's just a really good all-purpose primer. So I will use that on the body of the dresser. Got a little bit of the primer on the Burlwood, so the only thing you can do to take off Ben Shellac primer is to use ammonia or denatured alcohol. So here I'm using some denatured alcohol just to make sure I get it off. These are the little details that matter, and I didn't want to obscure that Burlwood accent. So after I stripped the drawers, I went in and started the sanding process. So I sand through all of my grits. I usually start with at least 100, maybe 120, and then I go up to 150, 180, clean it off with a mixture, 50-50 mixture usually of denatured alcohol and water, just to make sure it's really ready for the next step. Here I have a little bit of an area that I needed to repair, so I put in some wood filler and I'm just sanding it down, and then I will come back and stain this. So this is stainable wood filler and it worked great. So next up is paint. This is General Finishes milk paint, which is technically not a milk paint. It's actually an enamel paint, but it kind of acts like milk paint. I guess that's why they call it milk paint. But lamp black is one of my favorite colors. It is just a beautiful black. Anytime I've asked somebody what is that, I've seen pictures and they always tell me it's lamp black by General Finishes. So I had to go ahead and try some. So I just bought it by the gallon. And first coat is a little scary, as you can see. Here, this particular one, I did not spray it. I just applied it with a brush and a roller. So first coats are usually kind of scary. They you think, oh my gosh, this is going to look terrible. But trust the process. And I use a brush and a very thin nap roller. So if you can find a 1/4-inch roller, microfiber, a 1/4-inch nap roller, that is usually the best way to go. So as you can see, I am just putting it on with a brush, and then I'm coming back with my roller in a fluid motion and I'm smoothing it out. And then in between coats, I like to use 300 to 400, and I just lightly go over it, make sure I'm getting any kind of little nibs off, or if there's any, lint or anything that got stuck in the surface. Best thing you can do is just touch it and see if it feels like there's any rough areas that you need to get, because you really need to sand that out or your finish is not going to be smooth. Then you want to tack it off with either a tack cloth or a microfiber brush, and then you can go in for the second coat. And as you can see, this is where the magic happens. Second coat, everything just starts coming together, really fills in, and it is beautiful. A lot of times, sometimes with the dark ones, you do have to do 3 coats. I don't remember on this one if I ended up doing 3 coats or not. I think I just did 2. But as you can see, that first coat is pretty streaky. But man, once you put that second coat on, it really starts to fill in. For the top, I like to use a steel coat of de-waxed shellac, and I just like to put that on after I've gone through all of the sanding process. The top has been stripped and sanded. I've gone through all of the grits. I've gone through 120, 150, 180, and then I come back with the shellac. You can see it just really makes that wood pop. And I feel like it just seals it in and makes the stain go on just a little bit smoother. The other thing with the de-waxed shellac is when you use it underneath your stain, I feel like it makes your surface really buttery smooth. That seems like it's what happens with mine. So now I'm going to apply the General Finishes gel stain, and this is in the color Nutmeg. I'm going to apply it to the top. I'm going to apply it to that accent Burlwood underneath the top and on the two top drawers as well. So I just put it on. Just let it set for, not maybe a minute, and then I just wipe off the excess. And so this is kind of a nice medium brown tone. I think it works really good with the black. So the thing with shellac is it dries really fast. And so as you can see here in the light, there was some areas that kind of pooled up on me. So I had to get that knocked back down. So I had to sand that down before I moved on to the staining process. Because if I stained over that, you're going to see that. So you want to make sure it's smooth before you actually go to stain. I applied the de-waxed shellac to the drawers as well before I stained them with the same gel stain that I used on the top. As you can see here, I'm using a foam brush to apply the gel stain to the drawers. I just apply it and then literally just wipe it right back off. Gel stain's really great about it. Just kind of sits on the surface. It's not a penetrating stain. So leave it on for just a few minutes and then you can wipe it right back off. And I did go back and seal this with General Finishes High Performance Top Coat in satin. So let's take a look back at where we started. It was a beautiful piece, but here it is, painted out and restained in a more modern color. I know this one was a bit controversial. Some people hated that I painted it black, but at the end of the day, my client loved it. It fits more in her home with the modern colors. And I did update the hardware. I polished them and gave them a fresh coat of gold. Lined the drawers, and I just think it's very handsome. I love that I was able to keep that Burlwood accent, and I really think that shellac made it just all come to life. So if you like these kind of flips, consider giving me a subscribe and a thumbs up, and tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.